If you could go back in time, you could either vote for Kamala Harris or Donald Trump. Who would you vote for?
I believe I'd still vote for Donald Trump.
And why is that?
2 points. I wouldn't say I agree with everything he has, everything he says. There are probably a few things I agree with the left about, but the main two things would have to be his viewpoint of the Second Amendment rights and the his viewpoint on the trans rights,
Okay.
or not rights, but more policies towards it.
Okay. Can you give me any of the policies that you support of his?
The policy. I'm not sure of the exact policy, but his view of how I would say more slowing down or stopping underage kids from being able to get this affirming care and things like that.
You mean gender affirming care?
Yes.
Okay. So you mean with the help of like a doctor and their parents, right?
Yes.
So who are you to determine that it's not good for the children when the doctors themselves have determined it? Aren't they going to determine what's healthiest for the child?
They might, but I mean, I don't see any possible way how stopping a body from developing as it should
Well,
before the right age. Like you're not allowed to
the
smoke
there
until.
there are plenty of children specifically that are not trans that get access to puberty blockers, for example,
Yeah,
and
under specific
that's
circumstances.
determined by doctors, correct? So specific
Yeah.
circumstances determined by doctors when it's healthy, they should be able to get access to it. Well, then why would trans children not be able to get access to it if it's determined by a doctor that it's healthy and best for them?
Because they're going out of their way to, a lot of times going out of their way just to be able to get this care when it's not like they don't have any
Everyone,
underlying
technically
condition.
everyone who gets access to the care goes out of their way to get access to the care. That doesn't make any sense. If you're going to a doctor, that technically means you're going out of your way.
Yes, you're going out of your way, but most of the time it's, underlying conditions that cause it when they're not looking for the affirming care.
I'm confused what you mean.
Like they have medical reasons why they need the blockers rather than just wanting it because they
Yeah,
feel a certain way.
the doctor determines whether or not they have medical reasons to need something, correct?
Yes.
Okay, if the doctor determines whether there are medical reasons to need something, then it's going to be the doctor and not you and the federal government. So why are you saying that from the federal government perspective, you should determine what the doctor sees as medically reliable or medically viable?
Okay, yes, I can see that.
Okay, then exactly. So then you disagree with Donald Trump's policy on that. So what specific policies of Donald Trump's do you agree with?
Well, to continue with, that area, it's more stopping it because, what's to say? Granted, I get it, I have no problems with it. I've been around it most of my life with the job I do. It's not a problem how you feel, but it shouldn't be forced down people's throats to have to agree with you.
What do you mean by force down people's throats to agree with you? What does that mean?
I shouldn't have to sit here and affirm what you believe if I don't believe it.
No one necessarily said that you have to. Like, what, we're not using the law to force you to do that.
No,
Like,
not law.
like, think about it this way. I think you should agree with me. Is there anything wrong with me thinking that? Does that mean I'm indoctrinating you by thinking that you should believe what I believe?
No, I don't believe it's indoctrinating you, but it shouldn't be a problem if I don't agree with you.
It depends on what it is.
Like, what do you mean, for example? I'm sorry.
Yeah, is it a problem in certain circumstances for people to disagree with us? Like, if someone thinks, for example, right, like, uh, armed robbery should be legal, right? Do you think that's like good to disagree upon?
No, I wouldn't say something like
Do you
that, but
think if we were to
that's
disagree upon, like, inciting like someone thinks it's okay to incite a violent insurrection at the Capitol, right? Do you think that's okay
no,
to
but
disagree
that's
upon?
two different extremes.
Yeah, but I mean that's what Donald Trump did himself. He incited a violent insurrection at the Capitol.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I agree with everything the man's done. Like I would say, like I know you. The last guy you were talking about was the abortion thing. I don't believe in the whole government should have a say in abortions, but stuff like this, I'm saying like this is more what I lean toward. Not everything, but I would
Oh,
say more with
okay.
the trans stuff. I don't think I should have to sit here and affirm what other people
Affirm what?
believe.
Affirm. Wait, what
Like I shouldn't
policy?
have like
Wait, wait,
someone
wait.
wants to
I have a
say
question. What policy
go
of
for it.
Democrats do you disagree with in reference to trans people?
I'm sorry. What'd you say?
What policy of Democrats do you disagree with in reference to trans people?
The more that that we have to. I'm sorry. I suck with the the exact like words of their policy, but I would say more saying that I have to sit here and all right. So you see a guy on the street. He
What
Biologically,
policy?
he's got
I'm waiting.
ability.
What policy of Democrats do you disagree with?
It might not be a policy, but more of a general viewpoint
Okay,
that you
so you just have a disagreeing opinion with Democrats?
most. It might more be a opinion.
Okay, so it's nothing about their policies. So then you're not comparing the policies of either side. You're just saying you disagree with a viewpoint that they have?
It might more be a viewpoint.
Okay, then I'm confused what your point is.
All right, so I mean, all right, so maybe not so much their policies is more. I agree with certain viewpoints of Trump than I do of all right, not even Trump,
What's
more just
relevant
the
if
right
you
and the left.
what's relevant about you agreeing on viewpoints if it has nothing to do with the policies they passed?
Because it's more that I agree with how they view life than I agree with how the left views life.
But why is that relevant if it has nothing to do with policy?
Because a lot of the times the policies they try to in place go along with the viewpoints they believe their life should be.
Okay, so let's see if you agree more with Trump. Trump said the climate's going to start cooling and that science just doesn't know it yet. Do you agree with that?
I'm sorry, what did you say? I have bad
Yeah,
Wi-Fi.
yeah. Trump said that the climate's going to start cooling and science just doesn't know it yet. Do you agree with that?
If the science ended up backing it up, I would. But I mean, that's just
No, the
the
science
same
does not
thing.
indicate that. That's why he said that the science was wrong. He also said that windmills are causing whales to numbers never seen before. Do you agree with him on that?
No, I also never personally heard him say that one.
So you disagree with those viewpoints. You agree with the viewpoints of the Biden-Harris administration to a greater extent on whether or not whales are windmills in numbers never seen before and on climate change, right? That the climate is increasing in temperature and that it's caused by humans.
Then yes, those 2 points I would agree with Biden
Okay, so
or the
then like
Biden-Harris
so
administration.
we've now mentioned more viewpoints you agree with Democrats on than you agree with Trump on. Now, given that there are more viewpoints we've mentioned that you agree with Democrats on than you agree with Trump on, what specific policies are relevant to determine why you support them or not, given that it's not going to just be a specific viewpoint, because I can mention multiple more viewpoints you agree with Democrats on that you do not agree with Trump on.
All right, well, would you want to name off a few more and see if if it's something I would agree with or not?
I mean, I can keep going. He said that he won the election in 2020. He said
Trump,
that the
Joe
Democrats
Biden.
stole it.
Yeah, that I had. It's hard to say with how I'd feel with that because of how much misinformation goes around.
So is that wrong or right?
I wouldn't say it's wrong, but it's hard to say for
You
sure.
wouldn't say it's
No.
wrong that he literally lost the election. The Democrats did not steal the
Oh no, no,
election.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say wrong. I meant to say right.
He's wrong, right?
Trump is wrong, correct?
Yes. Okay, so you agree with another viewpoint of Democrats and not with Trump. How many more viewpoints do I need to bring up for you to be like, okay, maybe it is the case that I agree with more viewpoints from Democrats rather than Trump. Therefore, we'd have to look at policies they support in order to indicate which candidate to support.
Yeah, so I'd say I would definitely have to look at more policies to see if I still would be in support of Trump.
Okay, so like what policies?
The one thing I do know that Trump's view on the Second Amendment.
What policy?
The policies is what I suck with. I can't remember the specific policies. I know he wants to make it. I know the Biden Harris administration wants to put more walls in place on getting
Like what?
more background checks. I know that's what they've always preached is
You
more
have an
background
issue
checks.
with background checks?
No, no, I don't have an issue with background checks. But I do believe it should be able. It shouldn't be impossible for the average person to buy.
Yeah, Democrats don't have a bill making it impossible to get a gun.
It's not
Kamala
impossible.
Harris
But
is a gunner herself. I just want to let you know. So they had no policy specifically to make it impossible for you to get a gun. What specific policy of theirs do you disagree with, or like the general idea of their policy do you disagree with at least?
I would say more the idea that I think at least more alongside with Trump. I know he has heavily, along with you should have your rights. You should be able to buy guns. I'm from New York in a state where it is very hard as it is to get a. You have to do leaps and hurdles. If you want to, you have to do insane leaps and hurdles to own a.
Okay. So again, what you don't know any policies of Trump's?
I suck with the specific policy, but like I said before, it's
Even
more
the
the
general idea.
viewpoint.
It's not even like it's like, for example, I can mention specific policies of Donald Trump's that are control related. Donald Trump wanted to take people's and then do due process second. He wanted to do a bump stock ban. He did that, and then it got overturned by the Supreme Court as unconstitutional.
Okay, yeah, I don't know if I've ever heard of that one.
Those are just a few examples. So like, I'm confused. So like, what specific general idea of a policy do you disagree with Democrats on? And if you can't mention a general idea of a policy, that's not a good enough reason to say that you don't support Democrats.
Yeah, no, I definitely do think I need to do more research on specific policies before I can sit there and, do a debate like this.
Yeah, even just like a general idea. Like, I think you need to have a general idea of the reason why you don't support Democrats and you do support Trump. And if you don't have that general idea, you probably don't have good enough reason to say that you would vote for one side or the other yet.
Yeah, no, because I mean, in this past election, I did vote for Trump. But, it's also generally the people I'm around, even more so policies, just I tend to agree more with the people I'm around that tend to be conservative.
On what issues?
More just about how they live their lives and how they view, family, friendships, just
Okay, what
general
about
ways
viewing
of life.
family? Like how they want to like cut people off of free school lunch and breakfast when they're children. 420,000 children every single month, on average, cut off of free school lunch and breakfast. The cutting people off of food stamps, 2.5 million people on average per month. The over 10 million people off their health insurance. The adding trillions of dollars to the debt. The decreasing taxes on rich people to increase taxes on working class individuals.
I mean, I'm sure that could be the case, but none of the people that I've in my life that are conservatives believe in any of them.
To believe in any of what?
Believe in any of the points you just brought up, but
then why do they
still vote
support
for
Donald Trump? Because that's everything Donald Trump has done.
I mean, I would say I'm middle class. I haven't seen anything he's done that's made a difference in my taxes. I know he passed a big, beautiful
Tariffs?
bill. The tariffs
that causes
were
your prices to go up. That causes your labor market to be worse. That causes the real GDP of the economy that you exist in to grow at a slower rate.
Yes, but in the practice of tariffs, when he placed the tariffs, it was more of a negotiation. We raise your tariffs, and then, they work out a deal and they lower back down to get prices for cheaper sale.
Name a single country where they lowered tariffs lower than what they were originally.
I could be wrong, but I believe it was the UK.
No, we didn't reduce it in the UK more than what it was prior.
Then that might have been misinformation. But I did see that an article where they said the UK lowered their tariffs on our side.
Yeah, from the rates that Trump raised them to. So like, think about it this way. If you take the tariff rate and you put it to 90% from 20%, and then you reduce it to 45%, did you increase or decrease the tariff?
No. Well, the article that I was reading showed
Answer my question. No is not an answer to my question.
Can you repeat the question one more time?
Did you increase or decrease the tariff?
If you raise it from 20% to 90%?
And then decline it then to 45%.
It still increased.
It still increased. So even though it decreased from the height that you increased it to, that does not mean it overall decreased. Meaning that the decrease that you're talking about is from the initial point that Trump raised it to, not from the original point that it was at. So it increased. It net increased. So you can't mention a single country where we net decreased it. Trump was trying to increase tariffs because he wanted to, quote unquote, bring back manufacturing to this country. You can't bring back manufacturing to the country unless the tariff is implemented.
Yes, but from what the viewpoint, I mean, I'm going off one or two articles that I read where they said it raised the tariffs, and then when they brought them back down, the other country brought their tariffs back down.
Okay, so again, I would love to know what country this is. If you don't know, then we can't even have a conversation about it.
Yeah, that's probably fair. I'd have to look up the articles I was reading again.
And then why was his goal to increase domestic production and to bring back manufacturing to the United States if the tariff is not going to be implemented?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Yeah, how is he going to increase domestic production without tariffs being implemented?
Like you're saying, like the goal of him bringing domestic production up?
How is he going to increase domestic production without the implementation of the tariff?
How would he do it without the tariffs?
Yes.
That I honestly really couldn't tell you. I know the goal of the tariffs was to make it so people, didn't really want to buy and sell with us, so we do have more reason to build, or they have more reason to also have other countries produce products in the U.S.
Other companies. Yes, so it's to bring back domestic manufacturing, like you just said. If the tariff
Yes.
is not implemented, then there is nothing that they're specifically advocating for that would increase the domestic production. So, how could his goal be to increase domestic production if his goal was also to reduce tariffs?
Oh, you're asking. I'm sorry. I think I'm a little bit lost in this question.
I'll ask you one more time. So, how could he increase domestic production in relation to tariffs if his goal is to reduce tariffs?
I'm sorry. You have to bear with me. I'm just not understanding the question at all.
How would he increase domestic production in the United States, production within the country, if it is the case that his goal is to reduce tariffs?
If his goal is to reduce tariffs and have production increase in the country, yeah, I'm sorry. I think you got me on this one. I just can't even
I got
understand
you
what
on
you're
this.
asking.
Tariffs are the mechanism in which he wants to increase domestic production. If the tariff is not implemented, there is not an increase to domestic production. So if his goal is to get rid of the tariffs, his goal can also not be, these are mutually exclusive, meaning they can't be true simultaneously, that his goal is to increase domestic production. If the tariff is not implemented, there's not an increase in domestic production relating to the tariffs.
Okay, so yeah, now I think I get. So you're saying the tariffs. So it's not. You're saying it's not going to help in the long run because the tariffs wouldn't. Once the tariffs come out of place, they would end up not producing in the states anymore.
No, what I'm saying is that his goal is to increase domestic production, meaning that
Yeah.
he wants to impose greater tariffs rather than get rid of them. So you saying that his goal is to bring down the tariffs is actually wrong because he wants to bring back manufacturing to this country, which would necessitate that he increases the tariff.
Oh, okay. Okay, I get what you're saying. But even leaving the tariffs in place, if they're producing in states, then it would still be cheaper regardless. So the tariffs wouldn't have so much as an effect on the economy.
It won't be cheaper because domestic manufacturing is more expensive in the United States compared to other places around the world because of comparative advantage that leads to them being more profitable in other countries around the world. And that's why it's not currently being produced in the United States without the tariff being implemented. It will be more
Okay.
expensive and also be more expensive because aspects of the manufacturing process come from countries around the world. So we might assemble some products in the United States, but say like materials of that assembling process come from countries around the world. So if you increase tariffs, then you're going to increase the cost of manufacturing in the United States because aspects of that production process went up in cost.
Okay. So you're saying. Okay, I get what you're saying. To be honest, I think I think I need to do some more research and think about where I actually stand.
Yeah, absolutely.